Hi there, this is Amanda Frankel with our Crafty Playdate. This is video number 3. Video number 3 of 8 in a series where we are using the Fresh as a Daisy paper. We're using this sheet in particular. This is just one sheet of paper. In video 1, I showed you how to cut it. In video 2, we did this card. Video 3 is this card right here. It's this piece right here. Be sure you start with video 1 so that you can see how to go about cutting this. If you would like a kit that contains all of the solid cardstock panels and the little accessories that I used for this card, this set of 7 cards, all 7 of these, just email me. My email is in the link below. All of the items that I'm using are going to be listed. All of them that I'm using for the whole set will be listed in the description of each video so you can find what you need. We are only using 1 stamp set and 1 die set. So it's not a bundle anymore, but they do go together. It's Sending Smiles and the dies that match. And we are just using this 1 stamp set for all of these cards. So you could get away with making this pretty inexpensively. In the kit, you would get the cardstock, the solid cardstock, and the accessories. You would not get the designer series paper. So if you want this designer series paper, it's going to be listed in the description below. And you just click on that link and it'll take you right to it in my store. All right, let's get started. Today we're making this one. So let me clean up these babies. All right. The way that I picked the colors for this is I actually looked on the back of the package, found these colors here, and decided what I wanted to use. I am using actually 2 colors. I think one of them, this one, Wild Wheat, which I couldn't remember the name in the last video, Wild Wheat, and I'm also using this blue, which is Azure Afternoon. This one I think is actually in our Brights collection now. We just did a color refresh, and these are the 2 colors, and they look odd, but together they work really well. And we are sending smiles across the miles. So that's what we're doing with this card. So we are using the base in the blue, base in the azure. That's hard to say for me. That's a tough one. We're just going to call it blue. All right, so blue base, easy. We already have this panel because when we cut it out, we just cut right along the lines. Watch the video. Don't try to make this harder than it is. And it is here, and I didn't cut it down 1 single iota. It's the same size as it came right out of the pack of paper, okay? The next thing that we are using is a piece of white. Is this the white? It is. All right, so the white in this paper is cut to 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. You still get, if you watched video 2, you saw I gave you some tips on how to cut 4 at a time. You still get 4 of these out of a normal 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, like this. You still get 4 of them. You just have a smaller margin piece that you're cutting out. Okay, so just be careful about that. The reason it's a little bit bigger is I wanted it to just peek around the blue. Otherwise, it looks really flat. So it looks really flat, but then if I add that white, it just gives it a little bit of pep, a little sparkle. It's just a frame, really, is how that all turns out. A little frame of white. Okay, so that is easy, and that's all I'm doing for the front. I thought when I saw this panel, it reminded me of like Wyoming or maybe Montana. Just a wide open, everybody would say Nebraska, but you know what? Nebraska's actually got some hills, believe it or not. Not mountains, just hills, but it's kind of rolling. All right, so I'm sticking that on, or even, you know what? Western Colorado, could be Western Colorado for sure. Anyway, it just looked like vast land everywhere. And so I thought, what stamp really goes with that? Well, definitely Sending Smiles Across the Miles, because it just looks like you can see forever. So with that, I am just going to use a standard panel. So this is just your basic 5 1/4 by 4 1/2. You could make it the same size. I probably should have. I just didn't, honestly. All right, I think I'm using the blue. Yep, using the blue for sending. I really could use a mat under here, but I'm just not going to do it. And I'm going to go ahead and make it straight. Although, you know, it'd be super cute at an angle too. You could do it, you know, like sending smiles across the miles. All right, so that's the blue. Going to add the wheat. The wheat is smiles across the miles is this one up here. So this one is opposite. I use both sides of my blocks like this all the time if I know that I'm going to be making a bunch of cards, and I just put them all on there. If I'm going to use just the one set, I'm going to put this one over here instead of like my other one. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so sending smiles across the miles, sending smiles across the miles. I made a little smudge. If I were not, I'm not going to glue this in because I probably would just flip it over and stamp it again because that's the beauty of paper, two-sided. So I'm not going to glue it in right now, and I'm not going to re-stamp it because you guys know how to stamp apparently better than me. Probably wouldn't have happened if I'd used a mat, just saying. All right, but if this were, I am going to glue this on though because this is just ready to go. This is my panel with my Wyoming on it. My Western color, oh, almost upside down Wyoming. That crazy Wyoming upside down and all. All right, gonna stick that on there. It's got my frame. Looks fresh as a daisy. And if I stamped this correctly, I'll just put my thumb there. Maybe you won't notice. If I had stamped this correctly, I would just glue that right in there and this card is done. That is card number 2. So this is the 3rd video. Everything that I used for all 7 cards will be in the description below. So you can click on the one here and there piece that you need. If you want a kit with just the cardstock, not the pattern paper, the cardstock, then you have to email me if you don't want to buy the whole packs, if you want a kit. And that would be the cardstock and the little accessories that we may use, like the little gems or things like that we use. If you want the same stamp set, that's listed below. It's Sending Smiles, and the die set will be with it also, right below it. Otherwise, you should be able to just go straight to my normal store. But if you want the cardstock kit, you need to email me. All right, sounds good. Be sure that you watch for card number 3, and that would be video number 4. All right, thanks for stopping by. Have a great day.